What's going on, everyone? Tech Me out here back with a second vlog on the channel. Thumbs up if you're feeling the vlogs on the channel so I know to continue to put out more. So first thing up, Cam and I hit the road to travel and go see some family. He tried to surprise them and yeah. So we're currently pulling up. We've been driving and talking and did not vlog up until now.
We're to the last minute.
But we're gonna do better. Yeah. But nonetheless, he's about to get out. So we will be reuniting.
Pick me up. What are you doing here, Cam?
We're not expecting you.
We're not expecting you.
So I'll see you a little later, Cam.
Okay, so wish me luck. I don't even home. What in the world?
Let me wait to make sure that you can even get in before I pull off. So he tried to do a surprise.
Attempt failed. That's what happened.
He tried to do a surprise visit to his family. And
on a family vacation.
Oh, don't look so sad, Cam. You can come with me. Yep. You should call. See where they're at. What can you say to mess with them? You can say, I'm
gonna say, hey, what signal do I have?
Oh, you don't even have signal to call. So you can use my phone. Let's see here.
Your call has been forwarded.
Shut
Curve!
Down. We both got
Wait
shut
a minute.
down.
Right, let me try this again.
Your call.
Where are they at? Okay, wait a minute.
Daddy.
I'm gonna call your dad. Okay. He's not even answering.
It's not like him.
Where the heck are they?
2.
Okay, F just text.
Where did I?
At a banquet. Call you in a few. How's it going? So it looks like they are at a banquet. So his surprise has failed for the time being, but it's cool. He's just gonna roll with me until he can.
I want some dinner.
Go see them.
From them. And the words of Beyonce, every promise not work out that way.
Now, although at the time he wasn't able to surprise everyone, he did at least get the chance to surprise his little sisters. But then in contrast to that, his little sister surprised him back with a prank on his drink as he realized this sweet tea he asked for was swapped out for something else. What happened? Say, what's your version of the story?
Is that never trust Cameron in tea.
This ain't even tea.
That's when Sailor knew.
I'm messing. What happened? You pranked him?
Mm-hmm.
You just...
2 times.
First time you didn't bring his tea, and then you brought him soda, which he thought was tea. So what Cameron did to get back at him is to lock him out until they successfully came back from my aunt's house with his sweet tea.
Go get my tea. Go get my tea.
Open the door! You hold my Pepsi!
I want my tea. I want my tea.
I don't want to kill myself.
Well, go to my mom's house. She has bathrooms. She has 3 bathrooms in there.
Now, after spending some time with family, we then got back on the road and made our way back home with a little entertainment to help of some music. I will be sure that the ladies of war. Go ahead, jump hard.
Here comes you. Who's late? I'm background.
Yes, play your role.
I was doing it.
Stay in your lane.
I was doing my part. You're not.
That's not. And yes, we are clearly aware that we cannot sing at all. This is just in pure fun. Get in your lane.
I know my lane. That's my cue.
That was my
Yeah. I'm talking about a we. I'm talking about a we.
Bye, baby. I'm talking about honey.
That show look good to me. I think you're so.
Bye bye for now. Go up, down, up, down, up, down. Go up, down, up, down, up, down. Shake it fast.
Show look good to me. Shake it fast.
So I know I had like a lot of questions in my unboxing video, especially in reference to the transition from iOS to Android, and is it worth it to, you know, switch from an iPhone 7 or iPhone 6 or iPhone period to the new Galaxy S8 or S8 Plus. And I was gonna try to hold that off for the review, but I figured why not, you know, talk a little bit about it right now, being that I'm going through this transition and I'm hitting those frustrations or stumbling blocks that make me say, I miss my iPhone. So the Galaxy S8 Plus is a very solid, nice device. Of course, like any other phone or device period, it has its hangups, which I'll discuss in the review. But for the most part, I like it. And if I was going to use Android, I would want to use this, or I'd want to use the Google Pixel. So just in being like clearly transparent with all of you, when I switch, it's always like a brief reluctance to comply. It's just like sometimes I just don't quite want to go ahead and make the transition to Android because where did all my light go? Okay. Whoa, now I have too much light. Oh God. Maybe, hopefully. Still like, but pretty much basically what I feel like just close this blind. But basically what I'm trying to say is when I make that transition, it's always a little reluctance to go ahead and switch because I know I'm not going to be able to do iOS like things or the Apple ecosystem like things, such as iMessage. I'm going to lose that, and I'm heavily baked into that system because about 90% of the people I communicate, they have iMessage. And when you have iMessage, they're exclusive things you have. And I know like some of my, you know, especially Android fanboys out there are probably going to rant and rave, you know, about my preference, but that's the thing, it's my preference. And you have your preference, and we all have our own preference. It generally takes me a couple of days at least to get settled into a non-Apple device, to start enjoying the things that the device offers, such as the option to customize. When your device feels boring, you don't go out and buy a new one, you just change the look of it. So I love customizing on Android, and I know this isn't the prettiest setup, it's actually in progress, but I could literally sit here for more than I should and customize this device. So basically I really like that, but I got a call. I'm supposed to be going somewhere, so I'll finish this later. Bye. My little cousins actually drew this. Check me out, subscribe. These little angels right here. So, as I was saying, and switching from iOS to Android, there are a couple of apps that I've discovered help and, you know, keeping things one and the same across both platforms. And that very first app that I have to make sure I have is Dashlane. So Dashlane is an app that you might have heard me mention in some past videos that I've done, and that's because it is my go-to application for my passwords. So Dashlane is that blue application there in the center, but ultimately what it does is it allows you to keep your passwords in one central place by just simply remembering the password in which you set for the application. So it offers a lot of cool features like the ability to access your accounts from within the app, so you don't even have to leave the app. But one of the big things that I like about it, and it might seem small, is that it does have the ability to sync across all my devices, and that includes my iPhone, my Android devices, and my Mac. So everything is one and the same. And then another thing that I really like about it is the ability to share passwords. So I share my Netflix account with my brother, and when I change the password, if I don't hit him up to let him know, of course then he cannot access the account. So this ensures that he always has the updated password, because up here in that top corner there, and let me get this in focus, you see that little person there? When I tap on that, it then takes me to a screen to invite another person to the Dashlane application. So then what happens is if I change my password, my brother gets the updated password, and I don't have to worry about texting him to let him know. Plus, texting a password isn't safe anyway, so you definitely want to keep it in an application in which it is protected by a password. But those are just a few things I like about it. However, I will give you a heads up, these things are premium aspects of the app. But the app itself is free, but those things I just mentioned are a part of a subscription plan. But thankfully Dashlane was kind enough to sponsor the video as well as provide a discount to all of you. That way if you are interested in getting the premium features that I just mentioned, you can for a discounted rate. So all of this information is going to be linked down below for you, so you can take advantage of it if you so choose to. But ultimately I've been using this for a couple of months. I like it and I do highly recommend it. But in addition to Dashlane, another app I ensure that I have on all of my devices is Newton. So Newton is what I use to access my mail accounts. And I know some of you might be out there like, check me out, you can just add the mail account to each device and you'll be fine. But that's the thing, I'm not trying to add just the email address. I want everything one and the same by simply signing into one account. And that's where Newton comes in. So it's going to allow me to have one account that basically gives me access to all of my accounts. And it also brings over certain, you know, customizations I have in regards to my signature and swipe gestures and things like that. Now for my iCloud contacts and calendar events, I use an app called Smooth Sync. It is a paid app, but it does ensure that all of my calendar events and contacts I have in iCloud are visible and updated on all devices. So even if I'm on my Android device and I add a contact, it's saved in iCloud and synced back to my iPhone and Mac and all that. And even with that, I know that I could technically, you know, use my email account instead for my contacts and my calendar events, but everything's already meshed into iCloud and I don't feel like changing it. And Smooth Sync gets the job done for me to keep it that way, so I'm happy with it. Then the other thing I have is for my notes. I use Google Keep. So that application is my go-to to keep my notes in sync across my multiple devices. I like it because it allows me to pin notes. That way those specific notes are easy to access. I can also color coordinate notes as they do signify something to me. I know there are other note-taking applications out there that do more and, you know, still accessible on all devices, but thus far, Google Keep is simple yet advanced enough to give me what I need. For photos, if some of you are curious what you could use to keep things one and the same, you could use Dropbox or you could use Google Photos. But thus far, I personally don't use it, but it is a resource for all of you if you're interested in having your photos one and the same across all of your devices. But thus far, you know, for those that are curious, I am enjoying the Galaxy S8 Plus. The design is just absolutely beautiful to me, regardless of what, you know, platform you enjoy, iOS or Android. You can't deny the beauty of this device. It just really sets the bar to me. Like, it looks totally different than the devices that we're accustomed to seeing nowadays. So this is a nice, refreshing look on Samsung's end. And I actually enjoy holding it still to this day more than my iPhone 7 Plus because it's just as tall but slimmer, so it fits more naturally in my hand. As far as the fingerprint reader, if some of you are curious how that's working out for me, I'm still getting used to the fact that it is located on the back of the device right next to the camera, and I do still occasionally hit the camera instead of the fingerprint reader, but I make do. It's not that much of an annoyance. But what I did discover that was annoying that I wasn't expecting to be is the location of the volume buttons. I don't know if they might be located higher up than I'm used to, or if I'm just not used to having 3 buttons on the side in which I access my volume controls, because what I end up doing is hitting the Bixby button instead of the volume button. But it is what it is, you know. In time, I'm sure I will get used to that. And for those of you that are curious about Bixby, it is an action that I have to remember exists on the phone. It hasn't quite became like second nature to go to it. It's more of a conscious effort to go to it, but it's decent. You know, it shows me my calendar and what's up there. It also shows me, like, you know, my Spotify music, because I love Spotify, so I like being able to access it from within here. I don't think it's in focus, but you get the point. It also gives me the weather and how many steps I've taken, as well as news information. So it's not an area of the phone that I really find myself going to, but it's nice to have, but not thus far nice enough for a full dedicated button. Like, no. So I'm pleased, but I'm gonna tell you more within the review video that will be dropping soon on the channel. I think that's enough ranting and rambling about my thoughts on the Galaxy S8 Plus thus far. Do I think I will stick with the Galaxy S8 Plus? I don't know. Check that review. All right, y'all, but till next time, I'm out. As always, thanks for taking the time out to let me tech you out.